Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, well, if you know me in real life, then you know that I am kind of a pumpkin spice groupie. And I love anything pumpkin spice, anything pumpkin actually. And one of my favorite things used to be, before I was vegan, was pumpkin spice lattes. But for some reason, Starbucks puts dairy in their pumpkin spice syrup, so I can't have that, or I don't have that at Starbucks. Recently, the Silk brand, came out with a pumpkin spice creamer, which was actually quite good. Pretty sweet, but quite good, but it was a limited edition and it's really quite hard to find. So I'm going to make pumpkin spice creamer this morning because I have to get to work and I really want coffee and I'm really craving pumpkin spice. So I'm going to take the recipe that I have on my other channel, which I will upload on this channel as well, for my gingerbread creamer, and I've adapted it for pumpkin spice creamer. So super easy recipe. Here's what you're going to need. You're going to need some pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling, but just pure pumpkin. I bought this big can because I also mix it into Sophie's wet food when I give her wet food, because it really helps her coat. And at 14 years old, she needs a little extra nutrition, so I add a little pumpkin to her food. But so pure pumpkin, you need some maple syrup, Canadian Gold, pumpkin pie seasoning, spice blend. You can buy this anywhere. You can make your own too if you look online. I'm going to use some maple extract. You can use vanilla extract, but I like maple extract. A little bit of brown sugar, some non-dairy milk. I am using this oat milk, and it is just unsweetened, plain non-dairy milk. I like oat milk in my creamers because it's already kind of creamy and it adds more creaminess to the creamer, if that makes any sense at all. And then a dash of salt, because you always need a little bit of salt in there to bring out the sweetness. Then you're going to need a blender. I have a high-speed Vitamix, which really blends things well, but you can use your regular household blender. If you have a Vitamix, you don't necessarily need to strain it. I like my creamer really smooth, so I always strain mine. But if you'd have a regular household blender, then I think it's even more important to strain it. I've got my nut milk bag inside, just sort of wrapped over this 4-cup measuring cup. My nut milk bag is kind of yellow right now because I was straining my egg mixture that uses mung beans and has turmeric in it, so it's kind of yellow. And it's sprung a couple holes, so I'm going to need to buy one. But just cheesecloth will do as well, or a really super fine mesh strainer, but I find that a nut milk bag is the best. And then something to put your creamer in. I found this glass bottle at the dollar store, oh not the dollar store, the thrift store ages ago, and I use that for my creamers. One of the most important ingredients is soaked cashews. I've just taken 1 cup of raw, unsalted raw cashews and soaked them overnight, so that they're really soft, and when you blend them, they'll make a really creamy recipe, and that's what we want here. So soaked, 1 cup raw soaked cashews, and that's it. You throw everything into the blender. The full recipe will be linked down below. Let's get to making this because I need my coffee. Into the cup of your blender, add your raw cashews that have been soaked and rinsed. And then you want to add 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree. I have forgotten to open the can, so I'm going to do that now. There. So 1/2 cup of pumpkin, pure pumpkin. You can add more or less depending on your taste. Then I want 1 tablespoon of pumpkin spice, pumpkin pie spice. Again, you can use more or less depending on what you like, but I like my creamer to be pretty spiced up because of course it gets diluted in your coffee. 1 teaspoon of vanilla or maple extract. I'm using maple. 1/4 cup of brown sugar. You can use less sugar. You can use no sugar in this. I like my creamer to be sweet. I like my coffee to be sweetened. So that's 1/4 packed in there, as always with brown sugar. 1/4 cup of maple syrup. I can never get this open because it sticks. Hold on. There we go. 1/4 cup of maple syrup. And then a dash of salt, about 1/8 of a teaspoon. I don't usually measure. I just add a dash of salt in there. So after that, what we need is 3 cups of your non-dairy milk. Give it a good shake. But don't forget that the cashews will thicken this quite a bit. And I like to make a big batch because I use it every day. That's all the ingredients. That's as simple as it gets. Now we're going to blend it super well so that it is really smooth. Don't worry if you have, especially if you have a high-speed blender, it'll warm up a little bit because it's a high-speed blender. Don't worry about that because we're going to put it in the fridge and you're going to put it in hot coffee anyways. So let's get this blending and I'll see you back when it's done. Now give your creamer a taste to see if it needs more pumpkin pie spice, more sugar, whatever. More pumpkin. That's good. That's very good. All right, so now I'm going to strain it. Because we blended it, it's going to be a little frothy. So I'll probably need to put it in 2 containers and then eventually it'll the froth will go away and it'll settle down. But the first thing we're going to do is strain it. To get any residual big chunks of spices and or cashews. This part is a little messy, but I promise you it's worth it. Again, you just have to be patient. Good morning, Sophie. I found Sophie's birth certificate, not birth certificate, but adoption papers from when I adopted her because she's a rescue. And her birthday is November 7th. She'll be 14 this year. She lives a very comfortable life. There's no doubt about it. And she's very healthy. But she's getting older. I don't know, it always makes you sad when you realize that your companion animal is getting older. My last cat was a Devon Rex. It was a purebred, bought from a breeder. My sister actually bought. His name was Magic. My sister actually bought Magic and from a breeder. She paid a lot of money for him. And then she decided she didn't want him. And I said, well, I'll take him. And he was the best cat. If you've never seen a Devon Rex, you don't know what I'm talking about, but they are a kind of a mix between E.T. and a gremlin is what they look like. They don't have a whole lot of fur. They do have some, but not a lot. And they have these huge eyes. They look very Egyptian. And they are beautiful. And they're super, super cuddly and friendly because they don't have a lot of fur, so they're cold. So they always want to be on your lap. And he was such a great cat. He was older than my kids. He was 19 and a half when he passed, his kidneys had gone, and you know, oops, it was just his time. All right, kind of made a mess, but that was to be expected. And like I say, it's very thick right now. You can add more oat milk to make it thinner, but it's mostly just super thick right now because it's all foamy, and that will settle down. There you go, guys. There is my pumpkin spice creamer for your coffee. This is amazing in iced coffee, the same as my gingerbread creamer. Seriously, if you love iced coffee and you like to have a creamer in it, both of these are amazing in an iced coffee. If you want more pumpkin flavor, feel free to add a cup of pumpkin, a pure pumpkin, into the mix versus just half a cup. Play around with the ratio of how much non-dairy milk you add to get it to the consistency that you like. I hope you guys are doing well. I'll see you next week.